Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. One of the biggest things I've ever learned on my self-love journey is that you can't make everybody happy. So I spent a lot of time in my life trying to make everybody else around me happy. I'm almost certain I shared it in other episodes on my my self-love journey so far and things like that. I spent so much time, like anything I would do, I think about like how other people, it was going to affect other people. If it was going to make other people happy, I'd go out of the way to do other things to make people happy. And that is great as long as it makes you happy too. But like, it was just, I was so burning myself out, making other people happy when I really needed to focus on making sure I was happy too. Because when you're happy, then other people feel that. So it took me years. It took me an insane amount of years to really figure out that you can't make everybody happy. Not everybody's going to be happy about with what you do. And one of my biggest things is like, if we always make decisions based on other people's needs and wants, or even base it off their fears, we will never live the life we want or are meant to live. And this took me like so long. You know, I mentioned it a few episodes ago where it took my husband and I 7 years to become the people we are today, to finally listen to our hearts to move. 7 years ago, I remember basing my life more and be like, but what will my family think if we move? You know, I thought so much more about my family, about everybody else except my husband and I. We didn't think about like how it was going to affect us. Now, again, like I don't look back beating myself up about it. It's like, ooh, but Jody, you're like a completely different person. It's about looking back, oh, I was not the person back then that was ready to make that move. And it's about lovingly understanding that I had to become that person to finally get there. It's all about love and sending love your way. Like, it's never about beating yourself up for something you could have done in the past. And it's really just understanding why you didn't do it back then. So I spent so much of my life, though, living in other people's fears and other people's worries. I even had an aunt that like lives out in BC, and she actually told my mom, like, ooh, I wish Jody would have called and asked me about moving out here first. Would have told her that food was more expensive out here. We got here and food's exactly the same amount of money as it is in Waterloo. And if I would have based one thing on somebody else's thoughts about living in BC, one, that wouldn't have stopped me, for one. And, it's just, you can't get lost in other people's fears or thoughts or what they think is too expensive. It's incredible how we can stop ourselves from living the life we want when we base it on other people's thoughts, fears, ideas. Everybody is living the life that they can on their best of their terms, but that doesn't mean that we have to live our lives on somebody else's terms or where they're at. And it took me, like I said, so many years to wrap my brain around that just because somebody else feels or thinks or doesn't want to do something doesn't mean that I can't. That doesn't mean, that I can't be happy doing that thing. So it's really understanding that we can live other people's lives without even realizing it. And I have definitely fallen into those footsteps. Like when you look and be like, ooh, these aren't my footsteps. These are somebody else's I'm following. Or like, these aren't my thoughts. These are somebody else's thoughts. I've just heard them so many times that I thought they were my own. And it is just incredible what happens when you finally realize that your happiness matters. And I'm not saying that you do things to hurt other people. That isn't right. What I'm saying is we focus on what makes us happy. And obviously you can take into account, like when we moved, I took into account our kids and different things. And I knew it was going to be hard on my parents and on my in-laws and other family. And it's like, okay, what can I do to help ease this feeling. And I've, trying to figure out ways of, still chatting with them, and there's video chatting and all these things. But that doesn't mean that I stop doing what we want to do with our lives. It just means that we take I definitely love people, I love my family, and I feel things deeply. So I definitely have people's emotions and thoughts in the back of my mind, but they can no longer run my decisions of what I do with my life. I take them into account and I try to help wherever I can. And at the same time, it's really leaning into love and understanding my own happiness and what fills my heart up too. Because, like I said, when you're happy, other people around you feel it too. And it's incredible, because if you're like me, where you try to make other people around you happy, you in the end make yourself miserable. Like, it would be short-term happiness for me. I'm like, oh, I did this for somebody. It was so happy. I was like, yay, me. Like, feeling really good about, doing something for somebody else. And that's still great. I love doing other things for other people. But if that's all you do, you feel really exhausted if you're not making you happy too. There's something, like I always say, when you feel depressed, or, life doesn't feel great, then you go and you help somebody else. You can go to anything. Like, I used to visit seniors in nursing homes from our church. They were members that no longer were going to church. They were at nursing homes, and that felt really good. But like, those are things that I was doing all the time. I was giving and giving and giving, and I wasn't making myself happy. Like, it was temporary happiness because I was giving. But you have to remember that you deserve happiness too. And one of the best ways to, spread your happiness is to make sure you're happy too. And if you're not living your life on your terms, if you've kind of found yourself like living on somebody else's footsteps or on somebody else's path, it's never too late to change course, ever, never, ever. The biggest one is just being aware that's like, oh, this is not kind of the direction I want to be going anymore. And just, pause there. You don't have to do anything. Just pause. And just know that, like, you can always change course. And, so many people can feel it when you finally go out and do what you need to do for you. It's incredible. And not everybody, when you make a decision to change, or you change, like, to change paths and things like that, not everybody will get it. And at first it might be no one. Maybe no one understands why you're doing what you're doing. And in my experience, that was kind of what happened. No one, like, what? I think we blindsided our family with our decision. But the funny thing is, like, my husband and I have been talking about for 7 years, plus possibly. So no one really was great about no one really felt, there's a lot of, I don't want to say negative feedback, but you could definitely feel like that uneasiness about our change of course. And then eventually other people are like, oh yeah, wait a second. Like, I totally get why you're doing this. And some people, took a little longer, and, they still have their own emotions in place. And that's totally cool. We got to do what we got to do. And then they got to do what they got to do. And that's how everybody's happy. If we all kind of focus on our own happiness and making ourselves happy, then everybody can be happier. We don't have to be, getting happiness from an object or all these other things. We just fill up our own happiness bucket at whatever way that is for you. And we don't need to try and fill up other people's happy buckets. We can be there beside them, loving them. But anything you do in life, somebody out there is not going to be happy with what you've done. It's just, that's how it is. I'm thinking, like, some of the saints out there, like, I'm sure Mother Teresa, like, and this just came to me, so I have no information I've looked up to back any of this, but I'm sure she had people that didn't like what she was doing either. And she's a saint, or was a saint. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever you do, somebody's not going to be happy with what you do. And as an entrepreneur, that took me a long time to be okay with. That I'm going to post something on Facebook, or that I'm going to send out an email and somebody's not going to like it. It took me a long time. I had to like craft the perfect email or post and try to make everybody happy about it. It's like, no, I'm going to do with what I feel needs to be heard by my tribe. And then that is where I go. I'm sure people listening to my podcast, some people might not like it, and that is okay too. It's really not about making everybody happy. It's about, doing what makes you happy and spreading the happiness around. So today, I really encourage you to do something that makes you happy. Maybe it is listening to this podcast and maybe listen to another episode, or, go out for a walk or whatever. I don't even want to list any more things because guess what? I don't know what makes you happy. You do. Or if you don't, then just sit and think about the last time you really were truly happy and kind of go from there. Take some time and think about the last time you were happy. I know for me, it can be really hard sometimes. I get lost in like the go, and I've definitely shared this on an episode, where I nose to the grind kind of thing and I forget to have fun. Let your hair down, figure out what makes you happy and do that. And do it for you alone, not to please somebody else, not to make somebody else happy. Do it for you and whatever that is for you. Because I can't say what makes you happy. Only you can. So focus on what makes you happy and go do it only for you. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.